is so much about the carries, and LYON did an amazing job. We were just talking, using those realm warps, getting into the back line, pressuring the Ziggs and the Senna, and just showing why this team is world class.
Yeah, all right. Let's see if they can do it here for Thanatos to go see his dad, or if LYON are going to make this one look like the lock-in finals.
Well, they're going to go to Korea for a boot camp, so he's going to see his dad. The question is he in the stands with his dad, or is he on stage with his dad watching? You bet your ass he wants to be on stage.
But don't forget, even if you lose today, it's not like you're out of contention for MSI. Today's winner, yes, you automatically qualify for MSI. You automatically go to the finals in Arizona next weekend. But the loser will meet TL in that lower bracket final next Saturday for the chance to still compete for the title and still compete to be that #1 seed there at MSI. As Lee Sin and Cassiopeia are banned out by LYON. C9 elected to go for first pick. LYON elected to go on the blue side.
To Zach, I like it.
I don't know if we're going to see a Zach, man. It's been a while since we've seen Zach. I mean, we're more likely to see Zach than we are the Bard jungle that the previous guy's poster had. I think that Zach is more likely than that one. Other side's going to go ahead, ban out Akali, Nico, and Orianna. Seraphine banned out by LYON.
So they wanted put the pressure on bottom lane instead of giving Saint the Silas, or the Silas like respect ban isn't there from Cloud9 this time around. They banned the Orianna and the Akali instead. And so we put more pressure on bottom lane with a Seraphine ban instead, with the Lucian Melio being gone. That kind of rises in priority because that's the favorite counter into it. And so it opens up for C9 to do the poke. The Ezreal Karma here is definitely a very real possibility.
But Varus is also up, right? So it's OPs that can be traded. So you're choosing Karma or Varus. I do think we're just going to see Varus from Berserker here, very, very likely. And, it will just be a Varus lane into the Karma lane. So you have kind of your two, I don't want to say permanent ban, but as close as you're going to get there on that bot side. And it is going to be that matchup. So we'll see if Zven and Vulcan can create an advantage with that expected Ezreal, or if Berserker and Isles can get some work done here with the Varus.
Right. Do we want to go ahead and just immediately lock the support here for LYON? There's not a whole lot of pressure on that because the enemy team already has the Karma, but they will go ahead, lock in the Bard for themselves.
Bard makes a lot of sense. I was just kind of looking through the champions that he's playing and thinking, if you want to go lane dominant, that makes the most sense of the champions that are up and available, because the Nico is obviously banned out. That's another good pairing if you're going to be playing with the Poke Varus. And they know they are going to be playing into Ezreal Karma, almost guaranteed. So you have to have some laning power there. And they're going to be matching fire with fire here down in that bot lane 2v2.
And then what are they going to grab for Blaber this time around? Do they want... Okay, so they go for the Jhin. The Jhin with the long range again. I mean, Zven, he did have a very, very good Jhin game versus FlyQuest and hit the 13 kills.
Game 5. Smacked him. And I will say, Jhin is... A lot of people feel like it's the more stable laner compared to Ezreal, so I think they're saying, okay, if we're going to be going up against Bard and Varus, that's pretty scary. Maybe we want that kind of more, just stable lane, but risky.
And there's the answer to the Blaber question, because you go straight for something that can punish the Varus. No mobility on that Varus, so Jarvan here, the lock-in very, very quickly. And with a Viktor as well, those are two great targets for
Cataclysm Mewtwo.
Yeah, Blaber to
catch them both in the pit.
Try and get a lot of work done. Try and blow a lot of flashes off those carries.
All right, so we've got mid laner plus bot lane duo versus jungler plus bot lane duo. Remember last time around, everything was perfectly mirrored in the first half of the draft, so we only saw solo lane bans in the second phase.
Yeah, and very likely you're going to have that kind of flip bans, right? LYON is probably going to be banning mid laners, and C9 may be banning some of these junglers, so TF going to be taken off the table. I feel like APA, obviously he is a Zig specialist, but then beyond that, I feel like he really does well on facilitators, on champions that can set up engages, that can look for these ways to start fights. Annie is another champion that he is very strong on. I don't know if they're going to ban the Annie or not, though, because Viktor is considered a pretty good matchup into Annie, so maybe they're, not going to worry about him having comfort.
Yeah, exactly. The Viktor, I always feel like every time we see the Viktor-Annie matchup, the conversation is always like, yeah, this kind of sucks to play as Annie because every time you try to step up to the wave, you get lasered, and he just pokes you at a range.
I mean, they could try and do, if you're talking about facilitators, he has done like the Galio and just kind of tank it into that.
The dunk buddy.
And then you'd use, the dunk buddy for the Jarvan, do Cataclysm plus Galio. If both those enemy carries are both low mobility, then maybe you actually can get that wombo to work.
Yeah, it definitely could make sense. I think my concern with going...
There it is. They were thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
They absolutely were. My concern with going Galio would be they're pretty low on damage if they went that way anyway, which they obviously won't because you do have Jhin plus potential Galio. So obviously Thanatos could bring the damage from the top lane. And it is just going to be continually thinning the pool here for Inspired, you have to think, unless there is a particular matchup that Thanatos maybe wants to avoid on top side. And
looks like he does.
They are going to take this away. Rumble is still up and available. Usually it's just grabbed so early. Cassante is a matchup that a lot of people do like to take into the Rumble. And so now with C9 banning that, Lion's like, thanks. We'll take it. We'll take that. But you could still answer with Ornn if you want to go another tank. But that being said, I feel like for C9, do you want Thanatos, who is such a standout player, back-to-back playing tanks in the top lane, just being that facilitator? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to say I know, but I'm not qualified at all. Like, I've never been a pro player or a coach, but I wouldn't want that. I want my standout player standing out.
I also think Thanatos himself is probably like, all right, that was enough tank time. Time for me to get some kills.
I did my laps. Tag me in. All right, let's go ahead and get in there. But we will see that Annie locked in here for C9, for APA, saying, okay, this is one of his most played. This is something he's very successful on. And Aurora will be the pick into the Rumble there in the top side. The big thing I'm noticing here on C9, there's really no front line. Like, you've got Jarvan. Jarvan builds Bruiser, though, right? You're thinking Sundered Sky. You're thinking Black Cleaver. There's no true tank here. So if anybody gets caught out by the Bard, followed up by an Equalizer, you're in trouble.
But look at the other side. Where's the tank on that team? There's no tank.
They still have one left to pick.
Yeah.
They still have one left to pick.
Tank Kazakhs. I got you, bro. It's the Conqueror, Black Cleaver.
No tanks to be found. So
0 tanks.
It's explosive when you have this kind of composition here. You have to be really careful. You talk about the Bard. Yeah, if you get caught by the Bard into Chains of Corruption, into the Gravity Well, all these tools from LYON, that's very scary. But also Flash Tibbers plus Cataclysm plus Between Worlds, all of these tools are also terrifying. So it is going to be a very explosive game. I do love the Naafiri, though, the ability to go in and to utilize that call of the pack to be able to go immune and dodge away from some of these abilities.
Especially because it's Inspired versus Blaber, and Naafiri is very good at invading and being able to escape a lot of these situations. So if I was Inspired too, you definitely want something where you can go for some invade pressure and try and get some vision down to track a Jarvan is really going to help out your lanes.
I mean, I was going to say, I really like Naafiri just into Jhin, a champion that wants to root himself and stay very far away. You've got the ability to just go ahead and use the Hound's Pursuit and turn him into Gibbles and Bits. Puppy chow. Nice and nutritious.
Plus, if he only has 4 shots and you have the ability to go untargetable and you can just get out of there for the big 4th one, then that's going to be a pretty nice way to tank. You just avoid a large portion of the damage.
The easiest way to survive the damage is not get hit by the damage.
Don't get hit by anything.
Yeah, I like that. That's the LCK solution. Simply be better than your opponent, and you will win.
This one should be a banger, though. I agree.
I'm excited, man.
When you have big damage and no big tanks, should be exciting. Also puts more emphasis on the level 1.
Yep.
You see right there on the big screen in the arena, C9 did run straight down mid. They got the first kill on a ward.
Exactly. And it was a good ward, though, over the wall because APA was looking to be able to try to find someone with that Q stun, right? He had pinged in chat, Q ready, level 1. And they were just running straight in to see if they could find someone in a dangerous spot.
And Cloud9 have done this several times, so, good level 1 scouting where they either do it towards bot side or towards the mid lane. When they run Annie, APA runs with the bottom lane, into one of those lanes and tries to get an early chunk on somebody. This time they did go for it towards the mid, but as you say, was scouted out. And we have opposite clears for the jungles, so is going to be putting pressure on that volatile matchup up top side. Aurora into Rumble is very abusive, especially if Thanatos is the Aurora.
We had that week 1 with all these 5-game series, C9 versus Fly, then LYON versus TL, and now here in week 3, our 5th and 6th seed are already gone, so we're getting this top 4 here once again. Had a fun series yesterday between Fly and TL, and today, so far, game 1 absolutely delivering. It really does feel like between these top 4 teams, anyone could have won. Obviously, FlyQuest can't now that they're eliminated, but it has been a fun set of playoff games.
And as we get into the laning phase, we've got Emily standing by for an interview with Coach Anero.
Thank you. I'm here with Anero, kind of watching a little bit of the early laning phase. Talk to me about what you said to the team after kind of a disappointing game 1 loss.
We honestly just talked draft next game. We usually don't focus too much on the game prior because a lot of it's very champion specific, and those champs obviously aren't going to be in anymore. So we just went straight to next game and focused on that. We had a pretty unfortunate start to the game too, to be honest. And we kept the game pretty active and pretty, contested. It was a solid game still overall. I'm sure it was fun to watch. So just focus on next.
It was very fun to watch. Talk to me a little bit about this draft. We can see they've already managed to get Prio in this 2v2. So just talk to me about how this composition is going to end up working against what Lion have brought out.
Yeah, so we have a lot of early pressure with, just any Karma lanes generally have this pressure early and you can try to get a small advantage off of it, whether in jungle or just in lane for yourself. So we're trying to snowball that into something early that we have and just try to keep the ball rolling with Annie, Karma, all these champs that are really solid in engages, solid early, solid team fights. So not too much to go into after that. It's really just you're playing the game, play the game around you. Our game plan is just really focused on what we can do for bot early and our jungle matchup early to play.
All right, well, all the best. Thank you so much for taking the time, and we'll toss it back to the guest.
Yeah, speaking of bot lane and jungle, we talked about the opposite jungle clears. Blaber does end his clear on the bottom side. He gets the grab, no problem, even with the enemy support in his face, has his smite, and just goes into his second clear. But that's the thing with these telegraph jungle clears. You know that the repeat clears are also going to be pointed in those opposite directions. And so bottom lane there for Lion is going to have to be cognizant. Inspired, though, he's looking mid.
Yeah, APA could be in some serious trouble here. Call the pack already used by Inspired. Try to close a little bit of extra distance. They will force the flash out of APA.
Yeah, good early flash there from APA. If you flash late, Inspired probably can just flash and follow and finish you. But I have to point out, Berserker already TPing back to lane and did not have a great buy. It was just the tier. That's it. Whereas on the other side, it was Longsword and Boots for Zven. They had the push, and just a couple of those missed CS really cost Berserker from getting a better buy. So now as C9, you've got that TP down, and if they're able to create an edge in this 2v2 once again, it might actually stick because there is no teleport.
Oh, Dhokla now under pressure here on the top side, slowed down by the weirding. Blaber makes his entry, goes for the EQ combo, but a nice flash from Dhokla gets him away.
Okay, so both junglers taking a little time, out of their second clears to blow some flashes for the solo lanes. Inspired was a bit more efficient with his, though, because he did it between the respawn timer of first clear and second clear. Now, since he saw Blaber use the time after Krugs to go for the top gank, Inspired is on that invade path again. He's wrapping around bottom lane.
And here comes Isles and Inspired together. Zven is the target, tries to flash away, escapes for now. First Darkened Dagger hits him. Inspired goes forward, and he finds the first blood. Did I call it, or did I call it? The Jhin is dog food 5 minutes in.
Yeah, even before he has his ult, the Flowers, so now he's going to get chewed up again. But I just love tracking the jungle choices here, because Inspired is always remain efficient until you get any information from your opponent. And he's like, well, Blaber just did his Krugs, because you can count his CS off there doing the Krugs, goes for the top lane gank. Fine, you burned Dhokla's flash, I'm going to kill your bottom lane. He wraps around, and it's a really good, alter choice here for him. As you say, now there's no flash or barrier on the Jhin, and it's first blood into Naafiri. That is dangerous. Yeah,
it really is. Such a good play there for Lion, and it's one of the strengths that Bard is always going to have, right? They're pushing up. They have this winning 2v2. The Magical Journey gets them right in behind, and honestly, after I saw them behind in that spot, I thought that Zven was just going to accept death, but he thought there was an angle with the Karma Shield, with the flash and the barrier to get out. So committing those and still dying really, really hurts, because before that comes back up, we might see Inspired down there at level 6 looking for you once again.
And yeah, okay, Inspired had to flash after you to kill you, but Naafiri's got so much mobility, she doesn't miss the flash nearly as much. But Blaber's back up topside, the Jarvan coming from behind your own tower.
Yup, and he's already made his entry here, blocking off any escape for Dhokla, who now just drops the equalizer to try to clear out the wave. And yeah, he's got nowhere to run except underneath the enemy turret. So the Equalizer not even clearing out all of those minions, but it will make it harder for Thanatos to get this wave shoved up.
Yeah, he dropped the Equalizer too early. I think he thought he was going to die faster, so he kind of panic dropped it, but it didn't actually connect on a lot of the wave. You can see the wave is still mostly gone, so it's not the end of the world, but I think he only got 2 CS with that Equalizer, and usually you can kind of get all the small minions.
Yeah, one of the harpoons also just went straight through the middle, too. That could have been one more.
Those minions are evasive.
One more minion.
Juking.
Yeah.
It's like a scuttle crab. You can't hit that thing.
Every little minion does count, too. Those things really add up, especially when you're playing into Thanatos, counter pick Aurora top. Again, Aurora top is one of Thanatos. You know, he jumped on this matchup really early on when people were still discovering how good it could be for the Aurora side. And it's very bursty, you know, with the Electrocute and the Sork Shoes Rush from Thanatos as well. You have the Alternator, so it's this big, big burst damage right now from that Aurora.
And the opportunity that he has in this game is so good because it's not just you have a good individual matchup, but you have a Varus and a Viktor to go for. There are really good targets for the Aurora. So, you know, if Thanatos gets ahead, this is one where he really could snowball that lead. And Thanatos has been a beast. To me, he was the biggest discrepancy between best and second best in his role out of any role in the league. I thought he was by far and away the #1 top laner. He's great on carries. He's great on tanks. He lanes well. He team fights well. This guy kind of has done it all for C9. So getting him on a carry, on a counter matchup, and putting him ahead is really a good recipe for success.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the objectives going to be eaten up here as well by LYON. So Inspired already got the dragon for them, of course, and so is going to follow it up with the newly buffed grubs, which the way they went about buffing them, as Blaber clears that ward, and he's not going to finish them out because they did see Blaber, and bottom side should be an exchange. But the way that they buffed the grubs,
hold on, Chains of Corruption. They find their way onto Vulcan, but
he has no spells. He used his spells first and then Chains of Corruption, so he didn't actually have any spell to use after, so I'm going to call that one an oopsie from Berserker.
Okay.
But, Kobe, I know you were a Grubs hater. So have the Grubs been buffed enough that you like them now?
I mean, they're okay. I was going to say, as the exchanges continue on the bottom side, the way that they buffed them don't really make them more enticing for me personally as the jungler, because you don't get more individual rewards. It just buffs up. It buffs up for your laners.
You're like, that just helped my teammates. That is the most jungler answer.
Was that? Yeah,
that's a jungler answer.
All it does is help my stupid team. I wish they gave more money.
Exactly, because the way that they nerfed them is, well, they took the golden experience out of them, which hurts me. But then they buffed up the actual tower killing buff.
Give it back. I want that gold.
The heck?
Yeah, well, we know our top 3 teams. C9, LYON, TL, they are all going to be in Arizona. So if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, what are you doing? It's next weekend. Scan the code. Get the tickets.
We'll see you there. It should be a fun time over in Arizona as Blaber is looking to get things spiced up here in the enemy jungle, invading over the wall through the Dragon Pit as Vulcan is forced to flash away. Saint looking to stop the exit here of C9 as Blaber tries to enter right back into the fight, goes for the Cataclysm. Saint's locked up, but Blaber's shot down. Tempered Fate comes in right after the fact, too. Remember, Vulcan has already used his flash. Slowed down by the hail of arrows, but now LYON's got to be careful. Zven has made his way into the fight. Inspired goes on a killing spree. The dog is hungry. Chains of Corruption fly out, but no target found. LYON comes out on top in the fight.
Just better use of cooldowns there from LYON. A good fight choice for them as they see Blaber immediately uses EQ on the Bard. They know, okay, big window here for a chance for us to get damage on him while he doesn't have his spells. They force Blaber's flash out, and then for some reason on the re-engage, Blaber decides to go back in after having just burned his flash to escape. And so on the re-engage, Saint can flash away, but Blaber can't, and LYON get the kill. And you look at the decision-making from Inspired. He doesn't hesitate at all. He's like, wow, you just use your combo on my support, and I'll stun him against the wall. Perfect chunk there. They get the flash out of the Jarvan. And then, yes, you can wait.
Yep, back in live. Thanatos already committed the ulti as APA tries to go for the dive underneath the turret. Dhokla staying alive for now, but he is overheated. Tagged by the Weirding with a 2-fold Hex, also slowing him down. LYON bringing in back up now. Thanatos slowed, but he is not caught up here in the binding. Thanatos escapes, goes between worlds. Berserker wants to get that shot, doesn't hit the piercing arrow as APA is stunned to the wall. He tried to use his teleport to get away, and now he's going to lose the summoner spell and his life as Saint shows up behind the turret. just when Thanatos thought he might have been safe, nope, here's Viktor.
Yeah, Thanatos was able to juke Berserker on the snipe, but then Saint comes over. Well, Viktor hobbles over with his cane and finishes the job, and that's even worse for them to get more money into the Viktor.
Yeah, that is equals worth. Well, you know what? It wasn't worth. Maybe it was Jworth. We don't know the definition because Dhokla bought so much time here. The wave had already been cleared out, and Dhokla realizes this is coming. And look at the flash. Flashes away. APA looked like he tried to do W flash and just wasn't able to actually connect with it. So Dhokla hits him with the electric harpoons, buys time. Varus TP's top. Not only at the end of the day do they get the 2 kills, they get the flash, or rather, excuse me, the TP off of APA, the flash off of APA, then they deny a wave, and they get a plate, and they get the extra kill. So this was amazing here for LYON.
Yeah, I mean, APA tried to go for the teleport because he saw Isles do the flash there to try and connect his Q, and Isles wasn't able to connect his Q onto Thanatos, but the cooldown came up in time.
Nice Dhokla.
Worth? I'd say it was worth.
Yeah, I mean, Dhokla was making a lot of time. And,
oh, hold on. Right back to live, right back to a fight. Isles goes ahead, launches the Tempered Fate, but he's the first one to die. Saint doesn't have the damage to finish the burst onto the Cloud9 mid laner. As Vulcan also chunked low, but he's not in any mortal danger. Blaber now guarantees that Saint can't follow any further, so LYON and Isles just getting a little bit ahead of themselves there, trying to find the pick, and C9 has the punish.
Yeah, I don't think they realized that Blaber was that close. They tried to pick off APA, knowing he had no flash from the topside play, which would have been a good angle, but Blaber comes in, ruins their fun, and APA able to survive and get out. Isles now, though, just completed his Mikhail's, same timing, really, as Vulcan, who has completed his as well. There's not that many engaged tools. The Mikhail's is going to be really valuable.
Yeah, definitely will be. See how well they can utilize it as he roams up to the top side. It's also worth noting with the Dragons evened up, you know, during our little...
Nope, we don't even have time, Kobe. They are not letting you finish your points today. As once more, it's LYON trying to find a move here, but Thanatos gets himself away for now. Inspired tries to jump over the wall, get himself involved, but Thanatos has made enough space to stay safe for now.
Yeah, and Thanatos he's the only lead. Like, look at this there, and that is the C9 lead. These are all LYON leads down on that rest of the map, so C9 wants to protect Thanatos, and LYON wants to knock this guy down. He does have his rocket belt here, and is going to be a big threat in the team fights, but if they can continually force him to use these cooldowns defensively, obviously it takes a lot of his individual agency away and denies him the ability to try to abuse some of these matchups.
Yeah, he really is the hope. And the Aurora, as he said, has a lot of possible kills, but unless he can actually start getting these on side lanes here with the burst damage, then the possible carry here from Saint Viktor is looming. And Isles has been hovering around him, making sure this Viktor income can stay steady for LYON, continue scaling up for these team fights. Because the range advantage over the Annie is just so nice. He can just continually proc the Deathfire touch, get these poke little lasers on APA. If they're left unattended, or especially if the supports are circling around and getting all this deep vision, as you can see, lots of deep vision here through the jungle to make sure the Viktor can just continue to farm safe.
Deathfire touch, Blackfire torch, dots on dots on dots. Every time the laser hits you, it's just that HP bar getting whittled lower and lower as Saint crashes another wave into the turret. Both supports hanging around the area, but nobody wants to overextend into anything crazy here. Vulcan will be pushed back here by another destruction ray, and that makes it easy for LYON to clear out the vision in the Tribe Rush, as Inspired has already started up the Rift Herald. Blaber is in the neighborhood. But right now, this objective is going all LYON's way, and it doesn't look like C9 can do anything about it.
Yeah, Inspired. With the Rift Herald too, you are kind of expecting Inspired. I feel like 9 times out of 10, he uses it in a fight. It's not even usually 4 towers. He's going to do it at some objective, either run through people, use it as an escape tool. So it does make it more exciting. Looking forward to the next one.
And with that big gold lead, he already has 2 items done. Cyclosword and Shojin already complete here at 15 minutes. So he is super fed, and he has the Battle Herald. This guy is ready to go. And I love that Isles is just roaming the map with him, because Karma is much less adept at that sort of play style. They can go over walls. They can be anywhere and attacking from so far with this Bard plus Naafiri.
And I love how the analyst desk set it up at the beginning of the day, but Inspired himself has truly been the kryptonite of Cloud9 over many years since he has been in North America when he was on FlyQuest and now on LYON as Dhokla is about to be the recipient of some visitors.
Yep, he's going to drop the equalizer early, clear out the wave, flashes away from the combo from Blaber. Beautifully done there from Dhokla to clear out the wave and guarantee that he stays safe. Meanwhile, back over in the mid lane, LYON going for a play of their own. The Tempered Fate will not hit Zven, but the Herald has already been summoned. The mid lane Jarvan is already condemned, and LYON are up 2,500 gold.
Yeah, Zven has a lot of move speed, Ghostblade, and the Swifties to be able to avoid that. But back to the point you're talking about, Kobe, I mean, Inspired has been their kryptonite and has been Blaber's kryptonite. And really, ever since he came into the league, Blaber has not really been able to get back to that #1 jungle spot that he has been hunting for all time in best of fives. You know, this is not just game score, this is best of 5 score, 7-1. Even though Blaber, stats-wise, has been doing well in the games, and I think, you know, he's very competitive with Inspired, but Inspired always seems to come in those big moments, and you look back to game 1, the steals on the objectives, the ability to find these flanks and engages.
Yeah.
Inspired is just the king of team fights when it comes to junglers.
He is so good, and we even saw it last game, right? The clutch smite secures, right? Going after those Drakes in times where it looked like he shouldn't be able to steal them away. But now we've got the next Drake alive here in this game as LYON tries to approach the pit. C9 have control for now.
And they're probably wondering, where is Thanatos right now? APA?
The APA already dropped the Tibbers, but he didn't find Inspired with the initial cast. The follow-up damage was decent, but Inspired now having to use Call of the Pack, looking to get himself away. The beautiful shot coming in from Zven, puts him down. Now another one collides with Dhokla. LYON trying to retreat for now. Thanatos wants to go in, but he's burning, and Dhokla cooks him. Blaber has to try to escape now as the Hex Tech Ray finds him, and Berserker is the one to take the kill. So C9 might have found the Drake, but it is LYON winning 2 for 1 in the trade.
And Cloud9 might have been able to kill Inspired this time around with some focus on him. Very clearly, everyone, you know, spending resources there. But Inspired now has the first team All-Pro mid laner and AD carry on his team, and Saint and Berserker are pumping damage.
Yeah, exactly. Dhokla and Saint on the side got Thanatos very low, so when Thanatos goes back in for the re-engage, look at his health. He's just dead instantly, can't really do anything. The rest of LYON, they lose their jungler, but they kite back, they play it incredibly well. And I was kind of confused how that Tibbers missed onto Inspired because he had Call of the Pack for after he got hit by the ultimate from Blaber, so I guess it was just a straight up whiff, or maybe he like W Tibbers at the same time and accidentally used the stun on the W. I didn't quite catch that because when the replay started, it was after that sequence had begun. If they had just been able to kill him off instantly, that could have been pretty different.
Yeah, it looks like just a little bit short there. Not quite in range.
But you guys can see right now, C9's LCS series results. They've won a lot of series. Unfortunately for them, the one loss that was on that chart, that one was the one that really mattered.
So here's this play I was talking about. Yeah, Tibbers just barely short there. Does go in for it. Had they been able to land that stun, maybe they burst him down without having to use Cataclysm and some of these other tools that maybe the rest of the team fight does look different. Because at the end of the day, yeah, you killed him, but you used a lot to do it.
And again, I think maybe if C9 played a little slower after they killed Inspired and just got the Dragon.
I agree.
But they probably got really hyped up. You know, they're like, we got Inspired. And they just had taken the Dragon. So they run a little bit into the other threats. Again, everybody in this game has damage.
Yep.
So there aren't tanks, but everybody else still is a big threat.
Yeah, and the solo laners from LYON just played it so well, and I feel like that has been the big strength from Dhokla. You know, obviously there was a lot of talk when Castle joined LYON, and the expectation I think from most people in the community was that this was not a true 6-man thing, that Castle was just going to take the spot. But Dhokla has been playing so well, and I think the biggest part of that is how he plays the map, how he team fights. Castle has the stronger laning phase, but Dhokla just makes the right plays.
The funniest take that I heard about it is they signed Castle specifically because Dhokla plays best under pressure. So if Dhokla knows there's a guy right behind him just waiting to take the spot, Dokla's going to turn into maximum power Dhokla.
Also, it would be nice to have an in-house, you know, 1v1 partner for some of these lane phase things that you're talking about. If you can get practice kind of in hiding there that other teams won't know about, maybe that can help as well, and they can combine their powers.
It's like a Dragon Ball Z thing. Put your fingers together, do the fusion thing.
Sometimes it's kind of hard though, because other guys like kind of looking for your job.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, okay, fair enough.
So what you want to do here is flash into the wall level 1.
Only if you can't flash into the turret, though. The turret's the best place to play. All right, C9, though, they do have that Drake advantage, 2-1, thanks to that last neutral objective claim that they got. However, LYON still leading 2-1 in the grubs. LYON also securing that Herald for themselves, and that Herald usage mid was followed up shortly thereafter by taking both of the Tier 1 turrets in the side lane. So LYON, this 4,000 gold lead that they have, a big chunk of it is having a couple extra turrets compared to C9.
But it's so concentrated, which is really, really powerful because, as we always talk about, item completions are way more powerful than item components. And you look at Saint, you look at Inspired, they're both already on 2 items. They're both already working towards their third and have an expensive component working in that way. So Inspired and Saint are going to be so problematic that, you know, if you're trying to dive on Saint and you're ignoring Inspired, he might just shred your backline. If you're trying to go for Inspired, well, we saw what can happen in the team fight that time.
Yeah, definitely true. And the experience also matters a bit too. With you have the break points for an extra level, could mean a lot. But here we go for the setup, Flowers. 30 seconds ahead of the Dragon. Cloud9 with some good control wards to get an area to start the fight off.
Exactly. C9 controlled the river last time around, and it got them the Drake. Let's see if LYON can make their approach this time around. Isles with a magical journey through the wall to evade the deadly flourish. Make sure he doesn't get poked down at the start of the fight. Thanatos pushing top side, but he does have the TP to join up with everybody else. APA marked on the backside of the Dragon Pit as Isles goes for the Tempered Fate, but nobody else is around. APA there, rescued by the Mikhails from Vulcan, making sure that he doesn't get bound up into the wall there by the Cosmic Binding. Thanatos now ready to teleport into the fight. He's going to arrive right on top of Dhokla, who steps on the trap. Thanatos has the teleport shield, now regrouped with the rest of the team. APA has also reset the battle lines. Blaber's already lost 1/3 HP to a little bit of poke here as Berserker fires off more arrows. Isles is hanging out on the side, but remember that the Tempered Fate was already spent earlier for not much onto APA besides the Mikhails used from Vulcan. Now LYON trying to contest here for the Drake yet again. First Dark and Dagger fires out in the Hextech Drake, secured by Blaber and C9 as Inspired's low HP, but it's APA who's lower. They knock down the enemy mid laner as Dhokla goes forward and looks to chase even further. Vulcan and Zven on the run as Saint and Berserker are ready to try to follow. Thanatos goes between worlds, but now he's the one caught in the chains of corruption. Dhokla grabs the kill. C9 heads for the hills, and LYON once again takes the fight despite a C9 Drake.
And this time around, this story's a little different than last game where Blaber gets the smite, so it does get them to soul point. This is an important Dragon, number 3, and so they are able to burst it. Look at this, as the Patience was just wrapping down too. And as they do it, APA flashed in. You can see him here inside the pit, so he's committed. They know he's gonna die after the fight, and the rest of Cloud9 trying to escape. The important part is that chase down, where LYON, with the additional magical journey, are able to get Berserker in range to land the Varus ultimate and chase down one more kill. But now we're at the point where it is a larger gold lead for LYON, but still the tantalizing possibility of a possible Hextech Soul. 5K and 5.5K is a lot of gold, though. That's bigger than the difference in game number 1.
Yeah, and that is the really tough part is, you know, if you get the soul, it kind of just evens up the game. It doesn't really slam it home anymore for C9, and the question is, can you even get there? As APA way down in levels. Yeah,
Dhokla drops the equalizer right on top of him, cooking him with the overheated flame spitter. A little bit more damage, barely even needed as the DOT gets it done. The Leandries guarantees the death as the Tempered Fate lands on Zven. No chance to mop one up with a curtain call, and that's Big Dokes living up to his name here in the bot lane.
It surely is. Just runs APA down. APA even used his proto belt before the ult was used. Now Saint under attack from Blaber. You can see the Aurora is coming, but fairly far away.
Yeah, Saint now has a teleport coming in to try to rescue him. He's already dropped the Arcane Storm, and yet again, it's Dhokla. The cavalry arrives. Thanatos comes in to guarantee it's an even trade. He tries to bounce around back and forth, but the only place he's going is the fountain. Inspired's ready. Here for the Hound's pursuit. And yet again, the dog is eating good. It's LYON running away with game 2.
Blaber nearly had a solo kill there on the enemy mid laner, but Dhokla TP's in, gets another kill, hits him with the banter, and takes the Baron. And it feels like LYON starting to run away with it.
What a series so far from Dhokla. Game number 1, Azael, I know you were praising his Renekton positioning so well at the end of that game, having so much of an impact on a champion that normally falls off, and now here in game number 2, making huge plays both as an individual and as a teammate to set his squad up for the Baron.
Absolutely, he's been incredible, gets counterpicked by Thanatos, gets attacked by Blaber, and is still having a ton of effect, and they delay that Baron take, as Kobe was highlighting, for Saint to grab it. Here is that initial play. It looks like it's going to be a good one from Blaber, but it just takes so long to get him that when you look at the map, a teleport's coming in, Berserker's moving up, you can see Inspired running over there. It just takes too long.
And Dhokla is able to continue the roasting, both in chat and in game, in both side lanes. He's able to chase down the extra one. Inspired. I mean, this Naafiri has too much damage, Flowers, now.
Yeah. You can always tell when the dog is unleashed because you just press Call of the Pack to get more damage and more puppies before you ult versus needing to dodge anything.
And he's got his GA for a while now. He's now working towards that 4th item. He's nearly 3,000 gold ahead of Blaber. Saint is 3,000 gold ahead of APA and 3 levels here.
Okay, Blaber and APA trying to make a move in the enemy jungle, but no, Inspired just auto-attacks it. Oh, and APA got knocked from the wrong side of the blast cone. Inspired should be knocked into Guardian Angel at least here. APA barely hanging on to life as Inspired will resurrect through the Guardian Angel. APA going for the teleport to escape. Just says, all right, Blaber, good luck, dude. I'll see you back home. I hope you get home safe. He's not getting home safe, I'm afraid. He's in some serious trouble right now as Inspired is coming back to finish what C9 started. Inspired took the blue, and now he'll take Blaber's life. A killing spree, 6-1-2 on the Naafiri.
And that type of play, you got to feel like the game is kind of over now, where APA and Blaber are just like going into enemy jungle to steal away blue, and then Inspired literally 2v1s on. He gets his own Gromp and still gets the blue also, smiting the Gromp and autoing down the blue. And he knew, hey, I've got a GA and I'm willing to use it, so
what's the point in buying it if you don't?
Exactly. I'll chase you down. They get another kill. And
forgot to mention the 3rd camp he got, Blaber.
True.
The Jarvan camp. Yeah. You just see this big guy with a spear standing in the jungle. Got to get rid of him.
The APA camp teleported away. That one's a little hard to track down.
We'll get that one later.
That's one of the new objectives they added in 2026, the teleporting jungle camp. Man, C9 is in such a rough way now.
And it's so scary when you're thinking about, all right, Thanatos is really the only hope for C9, and Inspired is the same level.
Yeah, now Vulcan. Nice Mikhail's timing there, guaranteeing that he gets himself out of the Cosmic Binding into the wall. He did sidestep the Tempered Fate as APA finds the Tibbers here on to 2. This could be a good pick. Isles tries to flash away, but no, Blaber has the dunk. Now Dhokla flashes out of the edge of the curtain call, keeping himself alive for now. Berserker firing back. Berserker goes on a rampage. Dhokla still alive. Blaber has overextended, and LYON is ready to punish him with a Hound's Pursuit reset. Thanatos wants to escape, tagged by the Hex Tech Ray, and he burns down to the Darkened Dagger bleed. As APA escapes over the wall. He will not be caught in the gravity field. Eviscerate from Inspired to chase through the terrain as LYON may just end game number 2 right here. It's only APA and Zven to stop them.
I mean, it's just been all about Inspired and Saint in this one. APA has not been able to get anything done, it feels like, on this Annie, and LYON on the precipice of putting us on match point.
LYON having a hell of a showing here in game number 2. You're talking about Inspired and Saint being so far ahead for so much of the game, and Dhokla also just coming up in those clutch moments. This team is ready to make their way to that finals matchup next week.
And I think it is an important discussion point because Dhokla, he got enough votes to qualify for basically like the 4th all-team pro if there was a 4th team.
First team all snubbed.
Yeah, exactly. But he was not actually on one of the all-pro teams, but even with the split roster for LYON, you know, everyone recognizing what he brings to the team, and a lot of it, you know, during the regular season, his Anivia picks, how his team fighting with it really on display. And when you have this LYON roster that has so many stars, when the player that was not expected to be one of the biggest stars on the team is also doing their job so effectively as he has been on the side lanes and in the team fights, then it just looks really, really good all coming together here for LYON. And unfortunately for Cloud9, they're the ones on the receiving end again
And the pressure is going to start really mounting for C9 here. Of course, they are in the upper bracket. They will have another chance here against Liquid if they lose this series, but APA in trouble now.
Yep, here comes Big Dokes. APA drops the Timbers as Dhokla expects it and just turns and walks away.
Yeah, this time around he knows and he has flash and he can't chase too long. And so he kind of mogs on him right there, turns around, jukes your bear again. It's like, geez. Dhokla, he's getting a lot out of the enemy team without over investing here. Even though his stats, his gold lead isn't up there with Inspired and Saint, the plays have definitely been good too.
Yeah, I mean, he has been fantastic. You know, did tank the counter pick from Thanatos, did tank some of those ganks, and has been very, very effective. And LYON just slowly grinding this one out. 11,000 gold lead here, C9. Even if they get the soul, that's not going to even the game up. It would maybe give them some small glimmer of hope, but I don't think LYON's going to give you a 50-50.
Well, Blaber decides to full send it after Saint, who flashes out of the Cataclysm. C9 was ready to try to follow that, but the Summoner spell is more than enough to get LYON's mid laner out of danger. And now as soon as Thanatos arrives, man, blink and you'll miss it. That Aurora is already out of the picture as C9 now has to retreat. They're stuck in a 4v5. It's LYON owning the map, and the Baron spawns in 10 seconds.
Yeah, that's a LYON Baron. Wouldn't be surprised if it spawned with the LYON logo on its face.
At least on the flag behind it. You can put it beside the Red Bull logo.
Exactly. So LYON here, they're wrapping it up, and we have had listen-ins on their comms previously where they just start talking about the draft for the next game and plays and stuff, you know, already reviewing it. This is that type of stage. I will, again, just because we have to, put out the possible Dragon Soul. What if there's a miracle steal for Blaber or something like that?
Then they're still like 6,000 gold behind.
Yeah, you're still in the hole, a lot of gold.
But it's a smaller hole. You can see some light at the top of the hole, you know?
So definitely still that for Cloud9.
Hey, if you're in a really deep hole, you're happy about getting closer to the sun.
Brother, this is a mine shaft. I don't see a way that you get out of this position.
The canary
right now.
is dead.
Yeah, there's nothing coming through the end of that tunnel except maybe a train. Like, I don't know how C9 gets out of this position because LYON have total control over the Rift. They have themselves the Baron for the next 2 minutes and change. Sure, the Dragon's going to spawn, but it's not like C9 can get anywhere close to it, and LYON is just going to go ahead and get these waves shoved up.
Miracle wouldn't be a miracle if you expected it to happen, though.
True.
You guys are, whatever grade of hopium this is, I'm pretty sure it's illegal in California. This is way too strong a stuff. As Dhokla using his sweeper here, trying to maintain control. APA is behind enemy lines. Metal Gear Annie, I don't think this is going to be a great sneaking mission, but we'll see.
Yeah, and it's at times like this, Flowers, when you are truly desperate that you gotta just send on some vision plays, you know, hope that you can catch somebody out. And unfortunately for him, he's also by himself. Yeah. So it would have to be like a flanking play where you pincer from your base as well.
2 levels down on the ADC.
Uh-oh.
He just got
We've been seen.
Yep, the dog sniffed him out.
Alert, alert!
Oh, and he thinks he's getting away right into an electro harpoon. No, that's... He tried. That's about all you can do from here.
It is.
That's the train. Yeah. Choo-choo.
It also is unfortunate for Cloud9 that they have beat LYON in the regular season. They did it in lock-in, and they also did it at the beginning of spring. Yep. But again, in the playoffs, last time in lock-in finals, and now here, LYON are getting the upper hand. Still, possibilities of reverse sweeps are now going to be the hope for Cloud9 as LYON close in on game number 2.
Yup, LYON already have that mid lane inhibitor down. They'll go ahead and clear out the bottom lane next as the top lane tier 3 turret falls, and Berserker is about to make this a 3-inhib game. Curtain call opens up from Zven, but you're shooting full HP targets. The 4th shot only managing to take Azael down to about half health. As C9 continues scrambling, now Blaber once again tries to engage with the Cataclysm, but the flashes from LYON are always ready. Inspired pressuring the rest of the C9 squad back as the Nexus turrets are melted away. C9 forced back onto the steps of the fountain. Blaber forced into the Guardian Angel here, and it's LYON making their way to match point.
Game 1 was a battle, game 2 was a stomp, and now Cloud9 gonna have to regroup, rebuild, and reverse sweep or be sent to the lower bracket.